Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us so late in the day. The objective of this call is to review the updates to the 2019 Policy Initiatives Annual Plan. These are recent updates that we've made. So we're going to just go through those updates with you. This is Christina Osborne with Stakeholder Affairs. I'm going to be facilitating the call. I have a few folks from policy in the room. I have Brittany Dean, Greg Cook, John Gooden, and then Lauren Carr is actually going to be presenting. So this plan was posted on May 16th. It's actually out on the Annual Policy Initiatives Roadmap Process webpage. You can find that located on the Stakeholder Processes page on our website. And any other related materials are out there as well. So this is an update to the plan that was posted back in December of 2018. So you'll find that plan located on the website as well. We are recording the meeting. We're going to make that recording available on that same web page. Look for that probably early next week, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. And so with that, I'll just go ahead and turn it over to Lauren.
Okay, thanks, Christina. Good afternoon, everybody. As Christina mentioned, we're going to be going over the updated 2019 annual plan. This is something that we post every year to reflect the policy initiatives and their general schedule for the year. This year we wanted to do an update because we have some initiatives that have been added, some that have been deferred to a later date, so we wanted to publish an update and let stakeholders know of those changes. So with that, I'll go ahead and get into describing the changes to the annual plan. First, we'll go over initiatives that have been removed. The first one is the day-ahead market enhancements 15-minute granularity. The CAISO reviewed stakeholder comments on the 15-minute granularity piece of the day-ahead market enhancements initiative, and we decided to defer that piece. We will be moving forward with other day-ahead market enhancement efforts, but not the 15-minute granularity piece. The second initiative that we removed from the 2019 annual plan was storage as a transmission asset. This initiative has been deferred to 2020 to provide more time for policy development in ESDR 4. ESDR 4 is currently underway and it's in the straw proposal phase, and we will be developing NGR enhancements, including a state of charge parameter that we need to develop further before moving forward with the storage as a transmission asset initiative. So those were the initiatives that we removed from the 2019 annual plan. Next, I'll go over the initiatives that we have added. The first is the real-time market neutrality settlement initiative. This addresses allocation inefficiencies we identified in the current approach. The second initiative that we added is the intertie bid cost verification initiative, which will align intertie resource requirements with internal resources under FERC Order 831. The next initiative that we added is the CPM soft offer cap initiative that will be kicking off here soon. This is an update to the soft offer cap, and it will consider pricing options for 12-month CPM designations. Lastly, we're adding another initiative called hybrid resources, particularly looking at solar plus storage. We have a number of these resources in the queue, so we want to explore and address issues related to hybrid resources, including forecasting, operations, resource adequacy, and market design items related to hybrid resources. So before we get into the annual plan, I'll go ahead and pause for questions if we have anything on the initiatives that have either been removed or added.
So if you have a question, you can raise your hand by pressing #2, and please start by introducing yourself. So Michelle, let me know if anybody enters the queue.
We do have a question.
Okay.
Your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
Oops, hello, this is Susan Schneider, Consulting. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, now we can. Thank you, Susan.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I just had a question about the last item, the solar plus storage resources. can you, I know you're going to talk about timing in a little while, but is there any additional description of the scope, or are you going to wait until this or the other initiatives are initiated?
We won't be going over any more detail about scope at this time. I don't think we'll probably wait until the initiative gets kicked off and we have an issue paper go out.
Yeah, we have an issue paper, Susan, this is John Gooden, that we're working on right now. That'll get into some of the background and scope and timeline for this initiative, so you can look forward to that coming out here pretty soon.
Okay, yeah, it looks like, I don't want to take your thunder on the next couple of slides, but it looked like that you were thinking about starting that sometime maybe even next month. Is that about right?
Yep.
Okay, great. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Susan. Any other questions?
No further questions.
Great, all right. Move forward.
Okay, so now we'll get into the annual plan itself. This lists all of the initiatives that we are undertaking in 2019. It also shows initiatives that we've completed and brought to the board. So I'll go ahead and walk through all of those. We've already brought quite a few initiatives to the board already. Those include intertide deviation settlement, LMPM enhancements, CPM, RMR, and excess behind-the-meter production. We also have a few initiatives that have just been kicked off or are going to be starting up here soon. The first being the real-time market neutrality settlement and intertide bid cost verification. Those are two that were added to the annual plan as a part of this update, and we are expecting the stakeholder process for those to take a few months. The next one is the CPM soft offer cap. This is another one that was added as a part of this update. That one's kicking off soon, and we'll expect that one to go until the end of the year. For multi-GHG areas, we pushed that timing back to Q4 of this year to allow more time for other states to adopt GHG programs. The System Market Power Initiative is one that required some analysis beforehand. That analysis has been completed, and we are currently assessing the need for an initiative regarding System Market Power. Next is the Hybrid Resource Initiative. That is another new one that we've added as a part of this update. That one's kicking off soon and will also continue until the end of this year. Next, we have day-ahead market enhancements. That one is continuing. It started in 2018. It's continuing through this year towards the end of the year. So we're moving forward with day-ahead market enhancements minus the 15-minute granularity piece, as I mentioned beforehand. We're also looking to kick off the extended day-ahead market initiative, which will extend the day-ahead to EIM entities. We're planning on kicking that off sometime in Q3 of this year. We're also currently working on the ESDR 4 initiative that will go into 2020. We're also working on a market settlement timeline transformation initiative that will start probably in July and go through November of this year. We also have RA enhancements that started last year and will be running through 2019 into 2020. And finally, we are doing some analysis on CRRs, and we will decide later on this year if we need to start the CRR Track 2 initiative. And if we do, that will go also into 2020. So that's our updated annual plan that reflects some new initiatives. Some initiatives were removed and slight schedule changes. So I'll go ahead and pause here again to see if we have any questions on the annual plan.
So Michelle, let me know if anybody enters the queue.
No questions at this time.
All right.
We wanted to include another initiative update as a part of this call to inform stakeholders. It isn't reflected on the annual plan because this is an initiative that we completed policy development on last year, but we did want to give some updates with regards to when it will be going to the board and implementation timing. This is for the tax structure enhancements initiative. We're targeting the Board of Governors in February 2020 because we want to ensure the proposals are aligned between TAC and the EDAM initiative. And then once we take it to the board, we'll be targeting 2021 implementation for 2022 rate-making year.
Any questions about the TAC initiative?
No questions at this time.
Right.
Moving on to our last slide, which is next steps. We are planning to brief the EIM governing body and the Board of Governors on these updates to the annual plan. The EIM governing body meeting will take place on June 28th, and the Board of Governors briefing will take place on July 24th. So that's all we have on this annual plan update. We can go ahead and give one more opportunity for questions if anybody has anything.
So again, if you have a question, you can press pound 2 to raise your hand.
We do have a couple questions. Call your lines unmuted. Please go ahead.
Hi. I'm sorry I missed this, but could you repeat why the multi-GHG areas initiative was pushed back to Q4?
Yeah, this is Greg Cook. There was a couple of reasons for that. We have been monitoring the development of carbon policies in other states, really, which is driving the need for this. And then we've also pushed it back to Q4 to allow more time for us to address some of the new initiatives that we will be starting up next month and into July as well.
Like which ones?
We are starting the CPM soft offer cap, the real-time neutrality settlement, and the intertie bid cost verification.
Got it. And then my second question was, did you say that the extending the day-ahead market to EIM, that's been decided for a Q3 kickoff?
Yeah, we pushed that back a little as well. We had originally anticipated starting that around now, but that was in anticipation that the EIM entity's feasibility assessment study would be available. And our understanding is that has been delayed somewhat, so we're still waiting for the outcome of that prior to starting that initiative. So we pushed that off to the July-August time frame now, which is our current expectation of when we might see the results of that study.
Okay, thank you very much.
And who was this? I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Sorry, this is Raisa Ledesma from the CPUC.
Okay. Great, thank you. Michelle, you said we had another question?
Yes, call your lines unmuted. Please go ahead.
Yeah, this is Mo Sakija with Arizona Public Service. I'm just curious on about the 15-minute optimization or scheduling that was scheduled for fall of 2020. Has that been postponed or just canceled altogether? And what was the reason behind that?
Yeah, that has been deferred, but we've deferred it till after the current planned implementation for the extending the day-ahead market to EIM entities, so that would be, potentially to post-2022. And the reason for that was really twofold. When we started that initiative last year, we really had two areas of anticipated benefits. The primary benefit we were looking at achieving was in the California ISO Balancing Authority area by doing 15-minute scheduling, which also included 15-minute unit commitment. We would be able to essentially commit resources in 15-minute increments as opposed to hourly increments, which would help us to match those commitments up with our net load ramping needs, so you'd be able to, access a considerable amount of flexibility from inflexible capacity today. So that was one anticipated benefit. The other anticipated benefit was we had indications from some entities in the Pacific Northwest that they needed to be able to set their hydro resources up in the day-ahead time frame in order to provide that 15-minute flexibility to the ISO. However, as we started through the initiative, we did technology assessment to ensure that our market software would be able to run within the day-ahead timelines, and we found that we were having some issues making those timelines, so we had to do some modifications to the design. The primary modification we did was taking out the 15-minute unit commitment and going to hourly commitment. When we did that, we were able to meet our market timelines, but of course by doing that, that wouldn't allow us to achieve, that first set of benefits that we thought we were going to get out of this. Secondly, we also received the last round of comments we had on the initiative was from some in the Pacific Northwest saying they didn't anticipate being able to provide significant amounts of 15-minute flexibility. So those two things taken together, the anticipated benefits were significantly lower than what we had anticipated. On the other side, on the cost side, we know that this does have a significant implementation cost, both for the ISO as well as our load-serving entities, because there'd be significant changes to the settlement systems. So all that taken into account, we thought we made the decision that it was prudent at the time to hold off and really focus on the phase 2 of the day-ahead market enhancements, which was, what we're developing an imbalance reserve product to meet the ISO's operational needs, which has a much lower implementation burden on both the ISO and our stakeholders.
Okay, thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Michelle, thank you. Michelle, do we have anybody else in the queue?
No further questions at this time.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate it, and enjoy your long weekend ahead. Thanks, Michelle, with your help, or for your help.
Thank you. Thank you for using AT&T. The conference has ended, and you may now disconnect.